and conversation. So special thanks to them. I do have a timeline that I printed out just to give you an idea of the different steps that you can look at as they present. And I think Alan's trying to get them set up now. And look at that timing. All right, so the floor is yours.
Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for letting us do this. Thanks for having us. The timeline that you have just received definitely reviews the work that Todd alluded to, that we have done as a high school staff to kind of ready ourselves for how is the best way to use these funds. And then Al, if you could click on the next. So we started by looking at some other area high schools that have automation and robotics programs that have had success, and programs that are preparing students to enter the workforce, programs that are preparing students to maybe enter even like a 4-year college program, something with a focus on engineering and automation. And so we did some of these visits. We started with Amatrol, which is a product that is being used in some schools within Northeast Ohio, I'd say not necessarily here in Lake County. And then we went to some of our business partners, some of our industry partners. We went to an event that AWT held where it was manufacturers from all over Lake County in the room, and Ben and I walked table to table and we're like, do you use this? Do you use this? And really wanted to get to know if this was something that they would find valuable. Because we want to make sure that whatever we do aligns. And the answer was kind of like, not really. So we backpedaled a little bit, looked at some other options, went to some other schools, looked at Lorraine Community College is leading the way in terms of this robotics. They've got amazing partnerships with, it's not UR, what is, I'm like, FANUC robots, which are widely used in industry. Some of the back end work on getting a FANUC lab set up, it's just a little bit beyond our scope here at a high school setting. So we opted for to partner with ATC, and we're going to go with these universal robots. Ben is going to talk more about those and the extensive research that he's done and the work that he's doing to get ready for that for the 26-27 school year. But one of the coolest things that has come out of this journey that I don't know if it's represented on your timeline or not, but we are we're really trying to align ourselves with not only industry demands, but we're trying to align ourselves with what does higher ed expect, or what can we ready them to go step into some sort of higher ed program. So Lake Erie College actually met with ATC last week about purchasing universal robots that would kind of keep the process going. So a student who is in Perry who has done our program, who's looking to do something beyond the high school, something to study maybe in engineering and automation at the college level, Lake Erie College is going to be set up and equipped for that, which is a pretty cool next step for some of our students. The courses that we're going to teach here at the high school, that Ben go into more detail too, but those will be college credit courses that students would get that CCP credit for. So we have industry partners. We've looked at collaborations with, we sent out a survey through AWT. We had a lot of interest from places like Swagelock, Buyers, places like G&T Manufacturing. We actually have an intern this semester going to G&T Manufacturing, and her focus is going to be robotics and automation. So we really feel like we're kind of setting the stage here at 24-25 to be ready for 26, or 25-26 to be ready for 26-27 school year when this launches. So I'll let Ben talk about the actual robots. It's not mine.
Thank you for having us here. Okay, so I want to start with why we chose universal robots. The main priority that I wanted to focus was the kids. Rita kind of hit on it. FANUC wasn't something that we really saw as serviceable for a high school student, especially if we want to get a high school student in there early in their career. So we chose universal robots because day one, they can have their hands on the robots and the automation itself. They brought in an arm to us, what was that, like May last year? Put my hands on it, and within 5 minutes, I have the robot moving what they call waypoints. You pretty much move it, set a point, move it, set a point, and then keep on doing as much as you want, and it will do it. That's very entry level. From there, you can take it into algorithms, block coding, all the way up into Python. So it's kind of build it and have them do it. You can set at any level that you want it. It's like, oh, go back out. Thank you. Okay, and the real world experience that Rita was kind of alluding to there. So the students will primarily do the core training that is offered with UR. I'll be certified in it. They come and they'll do a 3-day training with me. So then I can certify the kids myself. And that offers 6 hours of credits through the state of Ohio. As far as future learning, UR has other courses such as the advanced automation, they have the servicing, among many other trainings that the students can go further with that if they do finish the core training and they want to take it further. The whole idea of UR is problem-based and critical thinking solutions. So that was something that when we were talking to all these stakeholders, and they came back and were like, no, we don't really use that, we're not familiar with that. We kind of talked to them a little bit more and found out that they want people that are just, they have the aptitude, right? Not only the soft skills, hard skills, and we found that UR offered that. UR's curriculum is set up so that you provide a problem and they have to critically think how to do it. It's not just one way to do it, there's many ways to do it. They got to get there on their own. And then that gives them a base for if they do go out in the real world and they encounter, some other type of automation or robot, they have a critical thinking mindset and a base for automation that they can go ahead and jump in and have them come up with it. As far as the lifetime guarantee here, so we wanted to make sure that our money was being used wisely. So if any of the robots do break, ATC will come and they have a lifetime warranty, they will fix it, so whatever it's done. Right now, you're good. So what will we be putting our money into? The big thing is the 8 tabletop cobots. These are the arms that you'll see here in a second, here in 2 slides. We're going to get 8 of them, the pendants, the grippers, and the cards that come with them. The cards allow us to take them wherever we want to, so if we want to roll them down to see them at the middle school, we can do that. The Festo pneumatics and workbooks. So where the universal robot, the arms, those are cobots that are used. You'll see them in like car manufacturing, chip manufacturing. The pneumatics and the PLCs, which are on the next slide, these you'll see more in like anywhere that needs fast automation is what you'll see these. AC/DC training systems, this is just getting circuits and electrical training for students. There'll be 4 of those systems. The universal cobots are coming in at, see that, 367,000. The Festo pneumatics are coming in at 56,000. And the AC/DC training system is coming in at 40,000. The mechatronic training system here, this is going to get kids used to a conveyor belt system. And then the PLC training software, which I talked about on the last slide. Again, this is any industry that they would need fast automation. This is what they would encounter. Okay. So up on the top there, that is the cobot arm. That's one that we'll get 8 of. That's the big one that the core training is encompassing. The AC/DC box there is on the bottom left, and then the mechatronic is on the bottom right, and the pneumatics is on the top right there. So that's kind of some visuals of what we'll be getting. All right. Scott, you want to take over?
Yeah, I'm the closer because I was the closer on this whole process. It was yeah. I just Rick Vaughned myself into this thing. I'll click that link, and so a little bit of the room rendering. So when I got involved with this, we were already talking furniture and what's the room going to look like, and all of those costs. Alan, Rita, and Todd had already had the big vision of the usefulness of the robots. We are truly, trying to chase that unicorn. It needs to be a room for somebody who wants to work, on the line with robots, and others who may want to someday build and design next generation robots. And so it's a little bit of a chase, but that's why we're trying it. Okay, so keep going down there, Al. This is all shared with everybody, hopefully too, so you can see it. Keep going. All right, so that's a kind of an overview with the furniture on the right. This was produced by the company that we're looking to purchase this from. The furniture choices are on the right, the layout of the room. That's the robotic room itself. The room itself it's very fluid, mobile. Everything can be pushed around, moved around. The robots can even be moved around in and out of the back storage room, and there's no additional electrical needs or anything in there. So keep going down, Al. Just more furniture, and then they actually draw a picture of what right there is what the 3D imaging of what that robotics room will look like without the robots in it. That's just the tables and the seating area and all that. So as we go to the other room, part of this is also a refurbishing of the old computer lab, which hasn't been done in how many years?
Furniture, probably 30 plus.
Yeah, right. So Mr. Smith came in and said, yeah, I was the guy that contracted the electrical in this room. So it's been a while. So that's a look. It's still, we'll keep that 5. We thought this was the best look still, the 5 rows. We'll get 25 computers. We don't need new machines right now. We purchased those recently enough. But that's where the furniture money was going to. And it's both sides, right? Those rooms are right next to each other with a huge storage space in between. And so you have access to those to take a look at. So those are the renderings of the room. And
Yeah.
any questions?
So how much interest is there in this from the kids side? Like how many kids do you anticipate being in the program and where do they start off at?
Well, we can use some of our U-Science data to see where the interests are. And that U-Science data tells us that they have an aptitude, but they have a low interest. So there's a gap. It's one of our biggest gaps. So we see it as our task is to fill that, right, to recruit. So we want to talk to our 8th graders coming up, our high-level math students, make sure they're aware of these opportunities. Clearly communicate this to families before registration season, so that when they sit down in February to register for classes, they can think strategically about their options. We want to utilize resources like Bonnie Kovacic, make sure she's aware, and she can help us with that communication piece as well. I think that this is something that we're hitting, we're coming at it with enough time to do that recruitment and communication. Will it be, will there be every single desk full every single block of the day? No. But, it will grow. And I think that, with our industry partners and some of the names and some of the buy-in, I'm hopeful that it'll become something popular that people want to do.
So that was, kind of the timeline on this too. So if we can get the labs built, at least furnished, up, running, looking wise by registration time.
By
Getting-
this February?
Yes.
Getting the kids in it to see it and see what it can do, and Ben knows it, well, obviously enough to give them some demos and make them interested. Now the computer lab is multifunctional, right? That's, that lab itself right now is being used for data science courses and things like that. So that's not necessarily tied completely to the robot side of it.
And I think a big draw for our families would be, we've done a lot with Dr. Tedesco and Blake Erie. So if we can make it a CCP level course, it attracts a lot of our higher end students. So when you write these grants, there's a couple things that drive it. Number one is an in-demand job within our region throughout the state. So this checks that box. And so they're only gonna fund those type of deals. And when you look at what Automation 4.0 is, it's like the next step in this whole, and it's like the industrial revolution of our age, started in about 2017. A lot of AI and just automation involved in the manufacturing and agriculture type of settings, which are huge in Lake County, right? But I think as far as the interest part, to answer that question specifically, having that connection with Dr. Tedesco, who's been a great partner through this all and has sat at the table with us, I think that will help draw in those kids coming out of, a lot of our students, and he's a Perry resident as well, so.
As far as class size goes, they recommend 2 students.
Yeah, in grades 9 through 12. Any student would be able to.
That's why we wanted to go with BOR, because you can get 9th graders on there, no problem.
Does this open an opportunity for, we always want to get our kids involved as much as possible, feel part of something. Does this open an opportunity for any, are there extracurriculars involved in it as well, that maybe they have potential to, like a club or something even after school to go further?
the potential's
The
there. for
potential's
that.
definitely there, yeah.
It's all gonna depend on, all that initial interest and things like that, so.
Well, I mean, I don't know, the face of the world, you guys tend to get kids interested in a lot of really cool things.
Yeah,
that we do.
yeah, and that interest comes and goes sometimes with different clubs and activities, but yeah, definitely.
So maybe even robotics competitions?
Oh, that's a little different type of competition, right? Max is a
There's
lot
some talk at
different
the
than
middle
this.
school about that,
Yeah.
to kind of like get them excited about that. There's some talk.
What about any field trips or anything out to employers that would show them hands-on? Like,
Oh,
I think it would be
absolutely.
here's what you would
Encouraged
do.
by everybody around.
Yeah, absolutely. Our Share Your Genius Day is coming together for October 15th for our sixth graders. And I called buyers and I was like, hey, could we come for like an hour and a half after lunch? We'll bring our own food, we'll provide our own transportation, no worries. And they got back to me and they're like, how about you stay all day and we'll buy everyone Chick-fil-A. And I was like,
That's awesome.
yes. So I found out I didn't say yes right away, actually. I said, what's the plan? But he went over, their whole team went over. They're big, right? And so they have the capacity to devote people to this kind of stuff. And the giant claw machine, that goes and like picks up but you would obviously. Sorry, man. But it's they're doing some sorting. They'll be using the automation very hands-on at buyers that day. So our sixth graders, in a little over a month, will be having those experiences.
Very cool.
Awesome. It sounds exciting. It's exciting to offer more programming for kids and more there. And I love that you guys have the resources available to go down and see where the kids' interests are and see where we may be having a little gap and fill those needs. And especially with grant money, that's even better. So well done. Thank you for all your effort.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Do you have anything else in your spotlight?
That's, I would just add in there that another part connected to this grant was the Paxton Patterson Lab at the middle school. And that room is ready to go. Jim Smith did a lot of connecting to different spaces up there. So if you ever want to stop by, just call, we'll give you a tour of that space. It's pretty impressive looking, and it was the first stage of this grant, spending this big chunk of money.
Awesome.
Thank you.
If anyone doesn't have any objections, I'm going to swap the order a little bit and move the executive session
Thank
up.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Guys.
We're going to move the executive session up ahead of the discussion items, if that's all right. So pursuant to Ohio Revised Code, section 121.22G1, I hereby move that the board adjourn to executive session for the purpose of considering the appointment of a public official of the school district. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mr. Jeffster?
Yes.
Mrs. Seoli?
Yes.
First is consideration of candidates for board vacancy. We have one application, so we will discuss that at the next meeting and make our decision then. For the school board vacancy.
Oh, yes.
We can't make the decision now, we have to wait until
10 days after.
10 days, so at the next board meeting, we would anticipate being able to make a decision. Rec board representative, do we have any, we had several applicants, a lot more than we anticipated, so grateful for everyone who wants to step forward and contribute to the community by volunteering their time for that. Do we have any nominations?
Zach Siegel,
Okay. Any other nominations?
emailed us his resume and a nice letter.
Yeah, and we did follow up with some questions just because there were so many that, I know it was short notice for the questions, but that's kind of the nature of the position also, where everything is kind of short notice and you have to be able to respond and,
Right.
Is there any other? Okay, can we do a roll call, please?
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mrs. Trester?
Wait, yes, did we do it wrong? Yes,
Mrs.
You need a
Seoli?
motion and a
Yes.
second.
I mean, that's the motion and nomination, isn't it? So
I
you,
think,
okay, so do
Yeah.
you want to do officially as a motion? And move that we,
no, we nominated, I nominated.
okay, so I think we did it
I
right.
think we did it right. I didn't know if I was supposed to say his name or say yes.
You're supposed to say yes.
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 Okay,
Um,
so we all said yes.
okay, do you want to do a motion in a second?
I can second. All right, and then the roll call's still, is anyone changing their mind?
Nope.
Okay, good. then the procedures sometimes get a little tricky. So, Suzanne, will you send an email out? I'll send you what the format was that we've used in the past. Sure. To let them know and let the rec department also know that we've chosen our representative, and then we can get them in the loop as to when the next meeting is. So, and then moving on to the next item, that is related to board business. So, old discussion. We did talk a little bit about putting out some communication because there's still continuing questions about the finances of the school as it relates to the data center and the impact that the data center would have. So we thought that maybe it would be a good idea to put out a school's perspective and what we know, because it seems like a lot of people are going back and forth. I haven't gotten any calls on it. Has anyone gotten any calls on it? So rather than having people, yeah, a couple people have asked, like we've definitely been asked, but no one specifically is coming and saying like, what is your thing? But we hear that there's a lot of communication, and we hear that, oh, did you hear this? And, you know, and while we don't respond to rumors, we know that there's a concern in the community. It's best to address it. So we did meet with the village and had some discussions with them. So it seems like we're on the same page with them, and it's a really collaborative relationship at this point moving forward that we can engage in communications and conversations.
We've asked, that those we've asked if we could have a seat at the table, especially our CFO, superintendent, people that are the experts in finance, to be part of that discussion when they're ready for those next steps in terms of what does it look like in terms of whatever comes up with that whole situation.
So are we all comfortable with the communication going out?
You're referring to the letter that was
Yes.
sent today? How would that be, how would that go out, the format? Social media or email or?
Parents first, send it out to our stakeholders here. Social media.
Yeah, because a lot of people that may have questions may not even have kids in the district.
Right.
Yeah,
They just want to understand what's going to happen.
website as well. If it's on, I'll share it on Facebook once at the school where someone posts it, that way people are paying attention, because I think there's a lot of misinformation still floating out there.
Yeah, so if we get our website, social media, Infinite Campus, or Parent Square now, that's, by the way, I've heard a lot of great feedback about that.
Good.
It's good to have all the communication in one place. So if we can get that information out there and get it in everyone's hands, and then if people have questions, we are always open to answering anyone's questions. Mrs. Capo is probably our best resource when it comes to finances, and understands it like no other, because it is complex and ever-changing.
And explained it last meeting.
Yes. So right, and when we met with the village, she did a pretty thorough explanation of getting everyone on the same page of why it's so hard to predict what happens and all the different factors that go into it. So while it may look like, you know, the school's gonna have a windfall of money, that's not necessarily the case, because there are a lot of other factors that come into it and come into play. But as it stands right now, the school's TPP is good for 2 years.
Yeah, 2027.
And that's been consistently the case, that every 2 years we go back for however long, and financial 5-year forecast is, as we always say, a tool moving forward that we use, but it's not a budget, it's not concrete, it is just a tool we use, and there's a lot of things we can't factor into when we look at it, so we have to use it as such. But I'm confident that we have a good relationship moving forward with the village, and that we can collaborate and work together to protect all of our taxpayers and students' interests, while promoting economic development. Does anyone else have anything? So we're okay with putting,
Yeah, that's a good communication.
okay,
I just want to make sure that we do have a discussion with the people we end up appointing to the right.
yes.
Because we have to, by law, we have to.
Mhm.
I think it'd be helpful if we had a discussion with them and talked about what a board looks like, how a board functions, what our goals and our thoughts are on things as the representative district.
Yeah. And make sure that we know what our communication expectations are, we're going back and forth.
They've been good about communicating with us so far.
Yeah. All right, is there anything else that we need to discuss? Okay. Okay. Is there, we did talk about the parade.
Sure.
So the homecoming parade is always an exciting time for the kids, very student focused. We have the Memorial Day parade that brings in other entities and things. And I think like in recent years, it seems like more and more, like, maybe outside entities might be coming into the parade. And it's not meant to be an advertising opportunity. It is goodwill for the community and all that, but really, I think, my personal opinion is it should stay pretty student focused. So I think it's a good idea, and this is just, open for discussion, but I think it's a good idea if we take the parade and make it be something that is completely student focused and is only open to participation from student groups or organizations that directly impact and work with our students. So that we can keep it on the kids. I don't know if that changes too much, but I think it eliminates a lot of outside influence and really keeps it student focused. It's the kids' parade. It's their time to shine. It's their homecoming. Alumni groups, obviously, but anyone else that directly, if Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and things like that, they are working with our students. That's the TNT twirlers. Those are our students, that kind of stuff. But anything that's not focused on that, I think it would be a good idea to kind of limit.
It's considered a school activity.
It is. It's a parade is a school sponsored event, correct?
Are there outside entities that consistently give back?
Well, there's a lot of outside entities.
No, I don't know, I'm trying to think of even we're always in one table, so I don't see who's in it. I just don't know how many we've been having.
I don't think that there's too many, but I think that it's something where once it starts, it has a tendency to grow. And I don't want it to bloom into, I personally don't want it to bloom into something that becomes less student focused and more about other things.
And it was funny last year, I think it was last year and the year before, we were like, well, everybody in Perry's in the parade.
Yeah.
There's nobody watching the parade because everybody's in it now. There was a lot of people in the parade.
Minus the kids who we never seem to have enough candy for, no matter how many bags.
Yeah.
we buy.
Well, we
get a little excited at the
beginning. Yeah, those people at the end aren't getting.
But does
Well,
anyone?
it's not, our policy says something already, doesn't it?
I'm not sure about school sponsored events.
Yeah.
I think we have policy on it, but I have to look at exactly what it says. I know there is as far as politics. So as far as any campaigning and stuff like that is not ever allowed in the parade. There's nothing political, local, national. It's
Perfect.
student focused.
So would we be saying we want to keep it just student organizations participate in our parade? Who organizes our parade for us that would say yes or no, you can and can't come in our parade?
So it's a high school run event. Jeff Goodman has done a lot with the parade over the coming years, both in the different supplementals that he has. Robin Cook has the homecoming supplemental holders, so those two. Jeff's taken a lot of the lead on the parade. He normally, different communications come in, requests that we've had over the years. We've always taken a strong stance on political campaigns not being part of the parade. This would be a step to just keep it all student focused and not, so you pretty much have different groups, student-based groups, businesses, and then this time of year, because you're always leading up to November, you have sometimes political campaigns, just people running for local offices that want to be involved.
This would only be students, no business, no political.
That's not.
That's what I would propose. I think that's a good idea to keep it.
Like last year, what do we have? Our band, the youth cheerleaders.
Yeah, alumni, you have class floats for each grade level.
Or
And did any
the court.
groups?
I think there are several businesses. I don't remember which specific ones, but
Any high school groups though, clubs or whatever?
yeah, there's been different clubs in it as well over the years.
All of our students can participate, right?
Yeah.
Every team. That's
And
what
you
I
have each
think.
building, usually there's a float for each building as well. Elementary kids are on there. And then you have all your homecoming court, obviously. Cars for each candidate.
Yeah, and so technically our youth football, they're in the parade, right? Technically that's not a school activity, but it's our students and it's our kids and we support that program. So obviously that's
I don't have an issue with like, you know, supporting our kids and whatever activities they're in. But it should be kid focused.
No, I mean, adding the kids, the more kids I think, the merrier, I think is awesome.
Yeah. So does anyone have any objection to like making that kind of we don't need policy on it, but like those would be our parameters and our expectations, right?
And there was nothing, like how, I'm just asking, like, 'cause I didn't know, like, if a business was like, hey, I would love to do this, is there something they had to do in order?
We didn't charge a fee.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
No,
Was there
it's
like
not.
a donation, like, hey, we'll do this, okay. I just didn't want to take, you know, anything away from the school or anything like that.
Right, we haven't charged a fee.
Okay. So I guess that would be the parameters we would request then. Obviously, we don't make day-to-day decisions, so that's on you, but that's our request.
Requested parameters.
Guidance, word guidance. All right, is there anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn? Roll call, please.
Joe Lighted,
Yes.
Mrs. Truxton,
Yes.
Mrs. Seoli,
Yes.
Mrs.